Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2025. As caps flew into the air around me, I stood frozen, my eyes locked on the empty seat in row 7. The one with the little reserved for James Caldwell tag that my mother had insisted on placing there 3 hours earlier. The seat that remained vacant throughout the entire ceremony while my father was busy putting on the 9th hole at Cypress Ridge Country Club. My roommate Lindsay squeezed my arm. "Come on, Emma. Smile for the pictures." I forced my lips into what must have looked like a grimace. My mother was rushing toward me, her expensive heels clicking against the gymnasium floor, phone already raised for photos. "Emma. Oh, sweetheart, you did it." She hugged me tightly, her designer perfume enveloping us both. "Your father sends his congratulations. The tournament ran long, and you know how these things are." I knew exactly how these things were. I'd been competing with golf for my father's attention for 22 years. James Caldwell, financial advisor to Boston's elite and golf enthusiast extraordinaire, had a perfectly reasonable explanation for missing my high school graduation, too. And my state swimming championships. And my 18th birthday. "It's fine, Mom." I pulled away from her embrace, tucking my economics degree, summa cum laude, into my purse. The degree that was supposed to finally make him proud. "He's hosting a dinner for us tonight at the Capitol Grill. He's so proud of you, Emma." "I have plans with Lindsay and the girls," I lied. "Tell him I said thanks for the thought." My mother's smile faltered. "Emma, please. He's trying." As we walked across the sunny campus quad, a text pinged on my phone. "Sorry about today, kiddo. Tournament went into sudden death. Brought home the trophy though. Dinner tonight, my treat. Proud of you, Dad." Attached was a photo of him grinning broadly, holding up a small gold cup, surrounded by his golf buddies. I stopped walking, stared at the image, and something inside me broke. Or maybe it finally mended. For the first time I saw him clearly, a man who would always have something more important than his daughter. "You know what, Mom?" I said, looking up from my phone. "I think I'm done trying to compete with his golf clubs." "Emma. No, it's okay. Really. I just think it's time I stopped expecting things to change." Back at my apartment, while my friends prepared for graduation parties, I opened my laptop. My father's company webpage loaded instantly. Caldwell Financial Advisors, building legacies for over 30 years. There he was on the homepage, perfect smile, perfect suit, looking every bit the successful businessman he'd worked so hard to become. The About Us section mentioned his upcoming retirement in 3 months. The big party was already planned, a gala at the Boston Harbor Hotel, with clients, colleagues, and family all invited to celebrate his illustrious career. The event his secretary had been calling me about for weeks, insisting I prepare a speech as the beloved daughter. I closed the laptop and picked up the framed photo on my desk, me at 8 years old sitting on my father's shoulders at Fenway Park, both of us beaming. It was one of the few perfect days I could remember with him, before his career took off, before golf became his religion. "I think we're both done waiting, Dad," I whispered to the photo as I placed it face down in my desk drawer. Later that night, while my mother sent increasingly worried texts about my absence at dinner, I was drafting emails to the 3 companies that had made me job offers, all outside of Boston. By midnight, I had accepted the position at Mayer Analytics in Chicago. By sunrise, I had found an apartment listing in Lincoln Park that accepted immediate move-ins. 2 weeks later, I was gone, leaving behind a note for my mother explaining my decision, and nothing for my father except the graduation invitation that had been sitting untouched on his desk. "Emma Caldwell, you're presenting in 5 minutes." I nodded at my supervisor, straightening my blazer as I gathered my materials. 3 months at Mayer Analytics, and I was already pitching to the executive team. My economics degree, combined with the data analysis certificates I'd earned during college, had positioned me perfectly for the company's emerging financial technology division. My phone buzzed with another text from my mother. "Your father's retirement party is tomorrow night. He's expecting you to be there. He keeps saying his little girl is giving a speech. Please call me back." I silenced the phone and slipped it into my pocket. This was the 14th message this week. She still didn't believe I wasn't coming. "Ready?" asked Darius, my colleague and the only person at work who knew anything about my family situation. "Always." I smiled, walking confidently toward the conference room. As I presented my analysis of market trends and their implications for our newest investment algorithm, I couldn't help but think about how my father would react if he could see me. This was his world: financial projections, investment strategies, calculated risks, but with my own twist. While he built his career on personal relationships and golf course deals, I was using data science and algorithms to achieve the same results. "Impressive work, Caldwell," said Elaine Meyer, the VP of Operations, after I finished. "Your father taught you well." I stiffened. "Actually, I've never worked with my father professionally." "Really? James Caldwell's daughter never picked up any tricks of the trade?" "I've known your father for 20 years. We've worked on several projects together. He never mentioned you were entering the field." Of course he hadn't. Because he barely knew what I was studying, let alone my career aspirations. "I forged my own path," I replied politely, but firmly. Back at my desk, I found 3 missed calls from my mother and one from a number I didn't recognize. The voicemail was from my father's secretary, Miranda. "Emma, this is Miranda Patel from your father's office. The retirement gala is tomorrow night, and we still don't have confirmation of your attendance or your speech. Your father has been telling everyone how his daughter will be delivering a special tribute. Please call me back immediately." My hands trembled slightly as I deleted the message. All those years of seeking his approval, of trying to make him notice me, and now that I'd stopped trying, he was suddenly including me in his big moment? As what, a prop to make him look like the devoted family man? That evening, I received an email from my father, the first direct communication since my graduation. "Emma, Miranda tells me you haven't confirmed for tomorrow. I understand you're busy with your new job, but this is important. I've reserved you a first-class ticket to Boston for tomorrow morning. The car will pick you up at the airport. Your mother has your dress ready. This is the culmination of my life's work, and I need my family there. You're expected to say a few words about what my career has meant to you and our family." "Dad. No, please. No acknowledgement of my graduation or my move. Just expectations, as always." I was halfway through typing a firm but polite decline when my phone rang. My mother. "Emma, please tell me you're coming tomorrow." "Mom, I've told you repeatedly. He talks about you all the time now, you know. Shows everyone your graduation photo. Tells them his daughter is following in his footsteps in Chicago." I laughed bitterly. "Now he does? Now that I'm gone and it doesn't require any actual effort on his part? He misses you, Emma. He's trying. Did he ever tell you why he missed my graduation?" I asked suddenly. A pause. "The tournament went long." "No, Mom. That's what he told you." I called the country club. He wasn't in a tournament that day. He had a regular tea time with the Bradleys. Just a routine Saturday game that he chose over watching me graduate summa cum laude. The silence on the other end told me everything. "Emma, he's retiring. This is your chance to fix things." "No, Mom. This is his chance to experience exactly what I felt on my graduation day. Sometimes the only way people learn is to feel what they've made others feel." After hanging up, I opened my laptop and navigated to the Boston Harbor Hotel's website. The Caldwell Financial Advisors Retirement Gala was listed as their premier event for tomorrow evening. Prominent business leaders, city officials, and financial industry giants would be in attendance. I pulled up my company's client database and searched for any connections to Caldwell Financial Advisors. There were several, including 2 major clients my father had been courting for years who were now working with our Chicago office. An idea began to form. If my father wanted me at his retirement so badly, perhaps I would make an appearance after all, just not in the way he expected. The chandeliers of the Boston Harbor Hotel ballroom cast a warm glow over the gathered crowd. Men in tuxedos and women in evening dresses mingled, champagne glasses clinking as Boston's financial elite celebrated James Caldwell's 30-year career. I watched the livestream from my apartment in Chicago, dressed in sweatpants and an old Boston University t-shirt, eating takeout Thai food. The event planners had set up a professional stream for clients who couldn't attend in person. My father stood at the center of it all, laughing and shaking hands, my mother ever present at his side. They made the perfect power couple, him distinguished in his tuxedo, her elegant in a deep blue gown that I knew had been purchased specifically for this occasion. The program began with speeches from business partners and prominent clients. Each one praised his business acumen, his dedication, his integrity. Several mentioned his beautiful family and gestured to my mother. No one seemed to notice, or perhaps care, that the daughter they'd been told would be speaking was nowhere to be seen. Finally, it was my father's turn to take the podium. He looked older than I remembered, more gray at his temples. He tapped the microphone and smiled at the audience. Thank you all for coming tonight. As I look back on 30 years in this business, I'm filled with gratitude for the relationships we've built, the challenges we've overcome, and the successes we've shared. He went on to thank his partners, his earliest clients, his mentors. Then he faltered slightly. I'd also like to thank my wife, Catherine, for her unwavering support through the long hours and missed dinners. The camera panned to my mother, who smiled tightly. And I was hoping my daughter Emma would be here tonight, he continued, his voice taking on a strange quality I'd never heard before. She's following in my footsteps in Chicago, making her own way in the financial world. She was supposed to say a few words. He scanned the room, as if still expecting me to materialize. That's when my pre-scheduled email arrived in the inbox of every attendee whose contact information I had been able to gather from our client database and my mother's address book. The subject line: what James Caldwell's retirement really means to his daughter. I watched on the livestream as phones began to buzz throughout the ballroom. My father was still speaking, unaware of what was happening. I've always believed that success is measured not just in dollars and clients, but in the legacy we leave behind, he was saying. More phones were being checked. Faces were turning toward him with new expressions, some curious, some concerned. My email was simple and direct. To the friends and colleagues of James Caldwell. You know my father as a brilliant financial advisor and dedicated professional. I know him as the man who chose a casual golf game over attending my college graduation 3 months ago. After years of missed birthdays, performances, and achievements, all sacrificed on the altar of his career and his beloved golf, I finally understood what I truly meant to him. So tonight, as you celebrate his professional achievements, know that I am intentionally absent, just as he was for the most important moments of my life. This isn't about revenge. It's about consequences and truth. It's about understanding that legacies aren't built solely in boardrooms, but in living rooms and graduation halls too. Congratulations on your retirement, Dad. I hope you finally find time for the things that truly matter. Emma Caldwell, Financial Analyst, Mayer Analytics. I'd attached a photo of my empty graduation seat with his name card clearly visible, alongside a screenshot of his text about the golf trophy. On screen, I watched as my father's business partner leaned over and whispered something in his ear. My father frowned, then pulled out his own phone. I saw the exact moment he read my email, his face drained of color, and he gripped the podium with white knuckles. He began, then stopped. For perhaps the first time in his professional life, James Caldwell was at a loss for words. That's when my final surprise arrived. The ballroom doors opened, and 2 representatives from Mayer Analytics walked in, our CEO Jillian Mayer herself, accompanied by our Chief Investment Officer. They weren't supposed to be there, they had declined their invitations weeks ago. But after hearing my story and reviewing my work from the past 3 months, they had changed their minds. Not just about attending, but about the business proposal they were carrying, an offer to absorb Caldwell Financial Advisors into Mayer Analytics' East Coast expansion, with terms that would enhance my father's retirement package while placing his client relationships under the stewardship of his own daughter. The livestream camera caught my father's expression of utter shock as Jillian approached him with an extended hand. My mother was staring at her phone, likely reading my email, tears streaming down her face. I closed my laptop. I didn't need to see the rest. My point had been made. My phone rang almost immediately. It was my father. I let it go to voicemail. 10 minutes later, a text. Emma, please call me. Please. I understand now. Then another. I was wrong. About everything. I see what I've done. And finally, I missed everything that mattered because I thought I was building something for you. But I was just building it for myself. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't respond right away. Instead, I opened my calendar and blocked off 2 weeks for a trip to Boston next month. Not to forgive immediately, or to pretend everything was fixed, but to start a new conversation, one where we both understood the true cost of priorities. When I finally called him back the next morning, his voice was ragged, as if he hadn't slept. Emma, he said, my name catching in his throat. I don't know how to fix this. Maybe you can't fix the past, I replied. But you're retiring now. You'll have plenty of time to work on the future. Will you give me that chance? I thought about all the chances I had given him over the years, all the disappointments. But I also thought about the photo in my desk drawer, the little girl on her father's shoulders, both of us happy. I'll be in Boston in 3 weeks, I said. No golf allowed. For the first time in my adult life, I heard my father cry. I'll be there, he promised. Nothing else on my calendar. Nothing else matters. And for once, I believed him.